Hello friends, welcome to Python tutorial course. In this part, we will be focusing on another order collections, which is tuples. So let's get started. Tuple is another data type from Python, which can hold order collection of objects. So similar to list, it can also hold any arbitrary type of objects. So here in this example, we can see my tuple is holding the objects of type integer, float, or boolean or function pointers. Also, tuple objects can be accessed with index, and the positive index always starts with 0. If we want to access the tuple items from the tail, then we can use negative indexing, and negative index always starts with -1. There is one major difference in the list and tuple, that lists are mutable where tuples are immutable. How is that? We can see that in the hands-on session. So how we can create a tuple in Python? So there are two ways to create a tuple. Let's say tuple. We have already seen, right, how we can create a list. You can specify list name and then square bracket and specify the items you want to be added into the list. Similarly, for the tuple, you can simply specify a tuple name equals to and a round bracket. So note the difference here. In order to create a tuple, we will have to use the round bracket, not square brackets. And then you can specify the items you want to add into the tuple. Another way to create tuple is to use the tuple constructor, where we can simply say any tuple name and then the constructor this way. Okay, tuple 2, this is my constructor, and then you can specify objects from the tuple. This is how you can define a tuple. How to print the tuple values? Similarly, same as list, you can simply print the values from the tuple. For example, tuple 2. How you can access the items from the tuple? Again, the indexing and slicing works exactly same as list. Hence, I'll not go into the detail. We'll see some basic examples only. Let's say I want to access the item 0 from the tuple. You can simply use the index 0. If you want to access index from the 10, you can simply use the negative index. If you want to use a list tuple slicing and want to print the items only after index 2, then you can use the list or tuple slicing. Basically, the indexing and the slicing works exactly same as list. Now let's say I want to unpack my tuple to some variables. How we can do that? Let's say this tuple has values, 5, 6 values, and I want to extract the tuple into some variables. Then I can define variable 1, variable 2, comma, variable 3 equal to and your name of tuple. For example, let's say if you have not specified this star, okay. Uh, So this has failed. What this is saying, a value error, too many values to unpack, expected 3. That means you have specified only 3 variables, but my tuple has more than 3 values. So there are multiple ways. Either you can specify the number of variable name equal to the values in the tuple, or you can use a wildcard characters. Using this wildcard character, the first value will be assigned to var1, which is A, the second value B, which is assigned to var2, and then rest of the values will be assigned to var3. Now let's just run this. Okay, let's just print the values for var1, 2, 3. For var1, then we'll print value for var2, and we'll print value for var3. Okay, so let's just see what it is showing. Var1 is A, var2 is B, and var3 has printed all the remaining items. Also, you can use this wildcard anywhere you want. So let's say if I have used this wildcard here, then A will be assigned to this. Last value will be assigned to var3 and remaining values will be assigned to B. Here we see the first value A is assigned to var1, last value is assigned to var3, and the remaining values are assigned to var2. Loops work exactly same for tuples as a list. So if you want to loop through the tuple, you can simply use for item in your tuple name, and you can perform the operations on the items you want. Or if you want to access item with the index, you can also do that with a tuple and then the index. It is exactly same as list. For tuples, we don't have methods like pop the item from tuple or remove the item from tuple, delete the item from tuple, because as we know, the tuples are immutable and adding, deleting items from the tuple will try to modify the tuple. Hence, that is not allowed. That's why we don't have these methods for the tuple. For tuple, we have basic two methods, which is count and the index. So this is again same as the list. For let's say tuple 2, I want to count the list of items present in the list. I want to check the number of occurrences for the A. So the last element, which is 2, because I have A twice in my tuple. Let's say if I want to check the index for the A, I can do that. This will print the first occurrence, first index for the A, which is 0 in this case. So it has printed 0. So yeah, we just have these two methods on the tuples. So when to use what? When we can use a list and when we can use tuples. So it actually depends on the use case we have. Let's say if there is a requirement that our data is gonna fix and not going to change at the runtime, in that case, we can definitely go ahead and use the tuples. But if we know that our data is going to change runtime, it is going to shrink or grow, then in that case, we will have to use the list. Also, what is more memory efficient, whether it is a list or tuples? Because we know the lists are mutable, hence Python needs to allocate an extra memory block in case there is a need to extend the size of list object after we create it. That's why some additional blocks are allocated in case of list, where in contrast to that, the tuples are immutable and hence of fixed size. So Python allocates only the minimum required blocks for the data in case of tuples. So let's see some example here of the size. So here I have declared a list with 3 items, which is 1, 2, 3. And again, I have declared a tuple with similar items 1, 2, 3. So the data is same in my tuples and list. And let's just print the size of both. So first I have printed the size of list and then for tuples, you can see the list has taken some additional bytes because as I mentioned, right, the Python allocates some additional blocks in the list. And tuples have comparatively less bytes. So definitely the tuples is more memory efficient than lists. So that's it for the tuples. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Tech Shop channel for more such interesting videos. Thank you.